Hey everyone, Jeff here, producer of the Think Pod. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode. This is a special one, our best of series. We have the best of May, and we had interviews with Vince, Kyndle, Bob Lucido to end off the month. These are all incredible interviews. All the clips will be in this episode, but if you want to watch the full ones, you can find it on our channel. And, we'd love to get some feedback, some comments below on what you think we could be doing better, maybe who you'd want to see in another episode coming up. We've got a lot of really cool people planned for next month, and we look forward to hearing from you. Also, below there's a link to our Discord channel. That's where we're going to be talking most with our community, and we've got a lot of activity in there right now. So if you want to sign up, go to the link below for Discord. And we hope to talk to you soon. Can't wait to show you what we got planned for you next month. Later.
Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
People don't like real estate agents, right? Like, I'd say most people don't like them.
We've got all these people moving from the cities into our town. I can probably be a millionaire in just a few days' time.
I was very, tapped into that. I understood why that might be. So kind of in my first year, reaching out to everyone I know and, hopping on the phones for the first time. I still feel this a little bit sometimes. I'm afraid to log into Mojo and start dialing, right? There's this level of anxiety where it's I'm bothering these people. Yeah. I'm, just a nuisance. They think this is all transactional, which a level to it there is, if I was able to get over that kind of lack of confidence when I knew that I should have it because of all these things that I've come from. Yeah. But now, obviously I realized that having, closed the transactions that I wanted to close in the last, year or so, I think I'm a lot harder on myself than maybe the outside world is looking at me. So, if I was able to get over that a little bit quicker, then I think, again, we're talking about maybe a handful of deals I would have gotten right or something like that.
What was the most immediate skill that you saw that was transferable from the food industry over to real estate?
That's a good question. I think, there's a hospitality element to it, right? Where you're kind of taking care of other people, especially in in a food related activity. It's a very basic, animalistic need. You're taking care of someone's, nutrition, as well as, when you're in that Michelin star realm, you're taking care of everything, no details go overlooked. And I think that's an aspect of real estate that's very important. Caring for others, checking off all the boxes, whatever that means in any given situation. But I think the biggest skill is it's a grind. It's just a grind. Both are a grind, and it's you versus yourself. Yeah. There's aspects of the kitchen where people are looking over your shoulder, making sure you're doing the right things. But ultimately, you're the person who has to hold yourself to those standards if you ever want to, have your own place or, move up in the line, be a sous chef, whatever it may be. There's a certain self-accountability that I think I learned during that time that definitely, transitions into real estate.
Now, being a lender has its challenges too, right? Yeah. So we're doing 3, 4, 17 pre-approvals a weekend, and they happen to be for the same house. You can't say, hey, listen, I just did a pre-approval for another guy and tell him that, or don't write on this because my pre-approval I just did offered more. So we're doing, 3, 4 times the amount of work for the same property, and the probability of everybody getting the property is 0, and the probability of one person getting it's probably 5. So the answer to the question is, right now it's very challenging on both sides. The demand is relentless. It's artificially inflated because, people are terrified, so they want to know something right away. And what I'm finding now, which is super important to point out, is that people that got their pre-approvals, a month ago, 2 months ago, are out there looking, need to call their lender and get pre-qualified again because the rates have spiked so much that the payments are changing $200 to $300 a month, and it could box them out, or it could put their affordability straight down the tube.
Let's go through truth or trends. There's a couple things that I just wanted to ask you. Is this a truth or is it a trend?
Okay.
Ocean City, Maryland. Is that a great place? Or is that just forget about it. Stop going there.
So I love it. I love the trash of Ocean City. I like to watch people all the time. I've been, I grew up very, very poor. So I could only afford a day trip with peanut butter and jelly and, a bag of chips that got sandy all day. And my mom would make us sit there for 7-8 hours on the beach. So that was my thing. So it's still my thing. Like, I like to go to the boardwalk. I like to see all the, there's a lot of people from Philly that come down, a lot of people from Pennsylvania. I love that, and I have a condo there, and I never frequent there because I'm so busy, but it reminds me of being a child, and I like to share that with my kids. And, of course, Bethany with the beach house would be, quieter, or going down to Florida and having something in the water, you'd pay the same amount of money. However, I just like the hustle and bustle. We hit the same places every time. It's like Secrets, the boardwalk. We're constantly going to every surf shop because my 14-year-old daughter is spot on a little surfer girl. So,
really?
Yeah. So that's what we
surfs?
do. Yeah. She's not a big surfer. She's a wannabe surfer,
Still,
but it's her thing.
I'm a wannabe surfer. That's why I skimboard. That's why I stay on the coast or whatever. I think Ocean City, Maryland is a truth. Like, I grew up in Jersey where we were going to Ocean City, New Jersey all the time. And we have Wildwood, which is kind of not exactly like Ocean City, Maryland, but I like Ocean City, Maryland. I like the beach town vibe, like boardwalk, like the smell of everything. And some people are just not about it. I was curious.
Yeah. I mean, our condo's on the northern side of, we're up by Jamestown, up 120th area. But, yeah. We like to dip our head down past the 40s and come back up.
What's your favorite thing to do on the beach?
I don't know how to relax, so I just play lacrosse with my daughter. We do a lot of walks, morning walks, take the dogs to the beach. I like watching the dogs, not know what's going on with the waves and try to eat all the sand and sneeze for 15 minutes.
So the shift is there, embrace it, but you need to be reading more about this. As expert, let me ask you all something. You all expect to earn a huge income, right? Yes. Right, everybody in the back? Have you earned the right to earn a large income? When you go to a doctor, my son just graduated, he's a lawyer, and I'm so proud of him. What they study and they do, I mean, I don't really care for lawyers, but I really don't, but when he studied, he got some of the highest scores in the nation. They bust their rear end, but that's why they can charge the fees they do. How have you earned the right? Have you perfected your skill? What are you reading, learning? How good have you gotten? Do you role play your scripts? Do you role play if you knock on a door for an expired? What are you going to say? You should know there's a shift, Charlene. And I care about you, so I'm going to be blunt with you. You should know that there's a shift in what's going on in the marketplace. Gary said this on a call last week. What's the number one indicator that the market is slowing down? What's the number one indicator? Good, but no. Showings. Showings are 78% of what they were last year. I'm in the trenches. I can tell you the open houses are down from last year, the activity and what we have. So you need to know this when you go on a listing that you are the expert, Charlie. And people know that they can count on you because you're going to give them stats and you're going to give them facts. Okay? The market is shifting and embrace it. I would love to give the commencement speech at a graduation for seniors. That would be quite an honor at your own high school. And it would be about helping people and most importantly, for people to believe in themselves, not to run with the groups, not to go with, just to go with people that, this friend's doing technology, maybe I'll go in there. I always tell people, pursue your passion. What are you most passionate about? I can't wait to get up in the morning and go. If you don't have that feeling to get up to go to work, you need to find something else. So I love what I do, and you should love what you do. You got to constantly be reinventing yourself. Now, one of the reasons I love what I do so much is because I only do what I love doing. I don't get into the weeds. You want to write this down. If you're in the busy work and you're not doing the most productive thing possible at every given moment, you're wasting your time. I'm very simple and very clear on what I do. God bless you.
Bless you.
Before I get into that, I'll tell you. So if University of Maryland called me, or my middle school or high school, I would love to go back and teach people about. I think my kids, I gave them one of the first books I gave them when they were 10 years old. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends, Influence People. I'm a graduate of the course. I read the book 4 or 5 times. That should be taught in schools. It's basic fundamentals. So I think they should be teaching business schools, financing for people in schools, and how to get along with people. This is all powerful stuff, and it's really basic. And most importantly, I would like to encourage and teach kids how to believe in themselves and that they can do it. That I'm a 2.0 high school student. I didn't go to any fancy schools. My kids did, but I didn't. But if you have passion, determination, grit, you surround yourselves with the right people, you have integrity, you can do anything you want. And I've only touched the surface of what I want to accomplish.
Wow.
I was in a meeting with Gary and Rick. We're going to be in a meeting next week with Gary, but I was in a private meeting with Gary with about 5 people, and he laid out. He said, "You guys think too small." And I said, and I'm taking notes. I'm thinking, yep, okay. So we have right now, maybe about 300 agents in our organization worldwide. He said, he drew it up here, you should have 10 to 15,000 agents by this time, growing your business. He says, you need to think bigger. By the way, one of the best books I ever read when I was 18 or 19, I got into Amway when I was 18. I still take the vitamins. That was one of the best things I ever did because it surrounded myself with positive people, books, tapes, seminars, and then it indoctrinated me into being in your interpersonal skills and setting goals. So I read this book by Dr. David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big. Dream big, think big about yourself. So Gary said, you're not thinking big enough. He said, this is where you need to be. The goal should be 10 to 50. So when I say I have 300 agents, I'm like, wow, I got a long way to go. So what do we do to attract that number of people? Now this is point number 8 for you all. To make people want to come be with you, whether it's a seller, a buyer, or a team member. I'm trying to recruit some of the top teams in the world. And before I was bottom fishing, meaning nice people, but I was thinking too small. Now I'm thinking, I love your shirts, I'm thinking big and bigger.
Here we go. On a roll.